country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. A racist is someone who have something that they want to protect. So they would always keep on talking the race talk till the day of the death. But poor people, we have nothing. Don't know where the next meal coming from. So I want you to go and to tell all them races, suffering makes us one. Now tell them racists, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to know where the next food coming from. Sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to know where the next food coming from. Sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food comes. Anytime you bounce up a racist and you hear them running them out, it have a whole set of people don't care what they talking about. A racist is someone living happy and all their family doing well. So race talk is really not for people in the ghetto catching hell. Now tell them racists, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. Get up early bucket, sit down, shedding tears. Now tell them racist sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. Visit the General Hospital, and I know that you would be shocked to see so much different race of people line up waiting on the dock, or pay a visit to the AIDS ward where they find no cure as yet. People don't know the race, yes they can't remember the color. All they know is that they're facing death. Now tell them racist sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. A racist is someone who have something that they want to protect. So they would always keep on talking the race talk till the day of the death. But poor people, we have nothing. Don't know where the next meal coming from. So I want you to go and to tell all them racists, suffering makes us one. Now tell them racist sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to know where the next food coming from. Sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country.
Sound check 1 2.
Don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to know where the next food coming from. Sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers Anytime you bounce up a racist and you hear them running them out, it have a whole set of people don't care what they talking about. A racist is someone living happy and all their family doing well. So race talk is really not for people in the ghetto catching hell. Now tell them racists sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from town. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. Get up early next morning, go down in the 10 days yard. You'll see so much different type of people line up with the ID card. Or visit my village called Talparo, where they ain't get no water for years. People don't know the race, yes they don't know the color. With a bucket sit down shedding tears. No, tell them racists sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue.
voices from the ghetto, crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, crying, voices from the ghetto, crying, 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 Lord, Lord, crying, voices from the ghetto. daughters just holding head and ball. And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher eyeing she daughter, son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for he name Brad Boys. No bail, that's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. She little girl child belly start to swell.
Blessing. Good afternoon to each and everyone. Yes, of course, I'm back. Thank you for the so many calls and so many text messages from Canada and America and England, Africa, Saudi Arabia, Grenada, St. Vincent, Tobago, Jamaica. Yes, I am back. Of course, I'm back. It has been a while. Yes, truly it has been. Well, I'm shocked, after not visiting Archie for quite a while. I am shocked with the so many different aspects of things now. Renovation, extended wing, studio. I mean, it's so much to talk about here this afternoon. Archie and all shocked me to see what he has done from since last I was here. Archie, you have done a spectacular job. I mean, I'm speaking about from a facelift to the place. I'm talking about the yard paved and properly well marked out, and vehicle parking and signs and additional cameras. I mean, Archie, you have done well. And for some reason, don't ask me because I can't tell you, but for some reason, I'm seeing Archie today and he's looking much younger than he used to look before. I don't know what is the reason, but don't ask me. Don't ask Victor Roberts because I'm not getting into that. But I really want to say, Archie, you have done a wonderful job, and I always congratulate you in the effort that you continue to make to have the messages go out to the public. I want you, the listeners and viewers, to know that very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks or so, we will be on cable television. You will be able to see us right at your fingertip. We may very well also be on another TV station. A matter of fact, 2 TV stations. You may be seeing us just now. But I hope all goes well and all is intact. Archie, I really want to tell you thank you for having me. After receiving so much calls and so much WhatsApp and so much messages, I called Archie. I said, Archie, I will have to find my way up here and start the program because, later on I will share some things with you, but all is not well with me in terms of transportation-wise. About 2 weeks before the election, my vehicle went down. 2 weeks before the election, my vehicle went down. And last visit to the mechanic, I understand that we'll have to replace that engine. So I'm also asking those of you who could assist. It's a 1KD Toyota Hilux engine. Of course, the cost of that engine is about $38,000, which I do not have at this point in time. And anybody who can assist, feel free to call Archie or feel free to call me at 316-4468. From 2020 to the 23rd of August this year, of course, I was unemployed and I had to do what I had to do in order to take care of my family and send my children to school and so on. There's 1 or 2 individuals who have assisted in so many different ways, especially my friend from Central. So any assistance forthcoming, I will greatly appreciate. So be that as it may, Let's just get into a little business here this afternoon. I may very well, you guys know that I'm appointed as one of the aldermen in the borough of Siparia, started from around the 23rd of this month, is it? The 23rd of August? What date? 29th? From the 29th of August, you know, my better half is here with me and she keep me up to date. So the 29th of August, I swear in. And of course, there's a stipend that would be coming my way in the sum of about 4,000 per month. But be that as it may, we have to do what we have to do to survive. So any assistance forthcoming in relation to the purchase of that engine, I will greatly appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, as I were on my way up, a good friend called me, and Archie was saying to me that one of Seram Brothers' supervisors was shot and killed. And you know, just recently we had at least 9 people shot in the Arima area. And of course, I think it's about 4 or 5 of those individuals, some little lads and so on, teenagers lose their life. And people were saying, well, where's the cry? This is the Seram Brothers vehicle there where what happened, what took place today. And you know, people ask with that 9 individuals that was shot recently, where's the cry, where's the outcry of the country? And I listened recently, a policeman made some statements in relation to that on a police talk show. And you know, of course, I have my bias with respect to that individual, because I think for a police officer, I think that individual needs some sort of professional training to conduct those programs, because the program is conducted very loosely. It is also conducted at some point out of arrogance, in some cases out of ignorance. And therefore, when sensitive matters arise in relation to people losing their lives, I don't want to hear some police talk show hosts tell me that one of the individual were known to the police. And you see, this is the kind of stupidity that I cannot accept. This one was known to the police and that one was known to the police. So because they are known to the police, what are you saying to us? That it is all right for things to be as it is because somebody is known to the police? Is that? I remember at a point in time, one point in time, that on my side, on my area, that some people were shot and killed. And it's the same stupidity kind of stupid statement you will hear, that this individual was known to the police. And when you do a background check on this individual who was known to the police, then we realize that that individual was wanted at one particular time for maintenance. For maintenance. So we always categorize some idiotic statement to tell me that this one was known to the police and that one was known to the police. That doesn't make it all right, ladies and gentlemen, and it does not make it all right. So because someone is known to the police, that they could be gunned down by the side of the road, and that makes it all right. Let me tell you something. This evening I want to talk to the PNM supporters. I want to talk to the PNM financiers. The people who finance the PNM. You see, you people fail to realize that the policy that Keith Rowley brought to the table is responsible for what we are now experiencing. When you have a prime minister who will sit down on a television conference or an interview and tell you that he have no problem with the rich getting richer, then what that man was saying to you is that he has no problem with the removal of the middle class in society. When you look at the policies of Keith Rowley, the closure of the industries, whether it be in Point Lisas or Santa Flora, whether it be in Point Fortin or Pointe-à-Pierre, when you recognize the decision that this government took over the years, is what have us in this situation today. Because when you examine those policies, you would see the removal of the middle class. And when the middle class is not there, then the criminal element would not attack the poor in most cases, but they will attack the rich. The same people that Rowley said he has no problem getting rich. It is those individuals that the criminal element has now targeted. Businessmen, business places, contractors. Those are under attack. And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, that the government seems to do absolutely nothing to correct that situation, I will crave your indulgence in looking at a situation that I'm going to put forward. When the crime situation continue to spiral, who benefit? Who benefit when the crime situation spiral or peak? I will tell you. The people who benefit the most it is the Syrian community. Yes, the Syrian community. One of the biggest security establishments in this country is owned by the 1%. This amalgamated security firm that transports for years people to and fro the courts, millions upon millions of dollars. When it took a pandemic to grant a vision to the government so that they now understood that there is a situation that can be utilized to cut this million upon million of dollars that you pay for years, virtual court, to set up a screen in the prison system and to cut back millions of dollars that can be utilized to develop the youth, the young people in our society. It took a pandemic so the government can see opportunity because they lack in vision. When crime continue to escalate in this country, every Tom, Dick and Harry have used for a security firm, used for a security officer, a security firm that can almost match the police service in terms of weaponry. a security firm that stand to profit the most. A security firm, ladies and gentlemen, that is all over Trinidad and Tobago, in every crack, every crease, every cranny, developing, expanding, in charge of the refinery that once existed, in charge at what used to be Petrotrin, money flowing from all avenue. You think, ladies and gentlemen, that the group of the most wealthiest people in our society will want crime to go down when they have all the firepower to protect themselves, while all their business establishment is heavily guarded by heavily armed officers with sophisticated weapons? Have you not seen the big picture here? Today I want to call on some of the PNM financiers who pay millions of dollars to have armed securities. Don't you think it's about time that you stand up and stand out against a government, against a prime minister who have Fitzgerald Hines, the biggest failure in national security? Standing at the hem standing in charge of a ministry that ought to develop and perform, a ministry that ought to be looking after the interests of you, the citizens, to keep you safe, to keep your family secure, to protect our borders. I listened to a talk show program a couple days ago, and it's the most amount of idiotic comments I hear for one program. And while on that, let me say this. Very soon I will be removing myself from some of these chats, some of these WhatsApp chats that have nothing to offer more than baloney. Every minute, pling, 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 pling. Talking and propagating all level of illiteracy on those chats. I cannot remove you, but I can remove myself from on some of these idiotic WhatsApp chat. We have, ladies and gentlemen, a ministry that should be protecting the level of violence that's happening in our nation's schools. A ministry which ought to be protecting the level of violence on the streets. A ministry that ought to be protecting you, the citizens, from home invasions. A ministry which ought to be protecting external entities, illegal contrabands, and other items from entering your country. But we have failed so miserably that after 8 years, the same man who tell this country he wants to hear nothing from the opposition is inviting the opposition to have crime talks. The same man who brought in and spent millions of your taxpayer dollar to bring all the heads of CARICOM right here in Trinidad to have this big crime symposium, spend millions of taxpayer dollars, now telling you before you go and eat shrimps and drink scotch that he invite the opposition to send written proposals, and then he will sit and meet with them in order to have crime talks. Let me tell you something. Keith Rowley cannot invite me to nothing. I'm talking about me, Victor Roberts. Keith Rowley cannot invite me to nothing. You see, there is a line where the political game must stop. There is a line where the political games must stop. There is a line where the political dotishness must stop. There is a line, ladies and gentlemen, that I am not prepared to cross. We must understand as citizens of this country that we have a role and responsibility. But you know what happened? We are so tied up and enshrined with a level of, and I want to be careful now, a level of bias mixed with stupidity, seasoned up with dotishness, that we cannot see further than our thoughts. You want to fix the crime problem, Keith Rowley? Then you must fix crime within your establishment. If you cannot fix the allegations that exist amongst your ministers, amongst your colleagues, then what you want to fix and what you want me to talk about? You see, for far too long, we watch the enemy outside of our fences. We watch the problems outside the fence. But we never pay attention to fix the problems inside of the fence. We never take time to fix the problem inside of the home. And if the home is rotten, if the home is corrupt, if the home steals, if the home have the criminal element, what you expect will happen outside the fence? In this case, ladies and gentlemen, the home is the government. In this case, the home is the government. We have too much allegations of criminality within the government. And when you cannot fix the criminal element inside of the government, then you only fooling yourself, talking about having talks to fix the problem outside. The problem in this country have to fix from inside. Inside, that is where the problem lies. We have too much reports sitting idly by. Ministers involved in criminal gangs. Ministers having money that they cannot give an account for. Ministers living lavish off a taxpayer dollar. Ministers selling cars when it's not supposed to be sold. Ministers involved in representing matters that the state prosecuting. Ministers is lawyers, or MPs is lawyers for individuals who are before the courts for corruption. People involved in commissions, name jumping up. People in high-ranking officials, in high-ranking offices, whether it be immigration, the police service, the army, immigration, customs, all over, people jumping up in Bacchanal, names jumping up with illegal activities. But if you can't fix that, what you want us to fix, Mr. Rowley? What talks you want to have, Keith Rowley? Fix the problem home, and then we could deal with outside. Because if the head of the body is corrupt, then the whole body will do corrupt things. When you watch a man outside that we consider to be insane, or in local twang a madman, you feel as he hand and he foot that mad? You feel as he toes and he fingers that mad? It's because of a disorder up here in the brain that cause the rest of the body to do mad things, to do things that foot and hand and toe and finger will not normally do. It's the same thing applied to government. If you have a government that is corrupt, that is involved in criminal activities, what you expect the rest of the body, which is Trinidad and Tobago, to do? What you expect them to do? So I'm coming back to the PNM financiers. Those who finance the PNM out of corrupt proceedings. Those who go against the procurement legislation. Those who utilize underhand methods to get rich and even to finance the PNM. When would you stop? When would you stop? Don't you not think it's time to put a stop to the killing in this country? Do you not think it's time to save the future generation from the hands of your colleagues? Because don't watch the criminal element out there as the criminal, you know. Yeah, they are part. But you who finance the PNM, you are equally to blame. You are equally responsible for what is happening on our nation's streets. You who utilize all the underhand kickbacks and corrupt activities to finance the PNM to stay in office, you are equally responsible for the 10 people that get shot recently, and even responsible for the Gopal man, condolence to his family, who work with Seram Brothers. I want to ask Seram Brothers here this evening, are you or were you a financier to the PNM? I am asking a question. If you are a financier to the PNM, don't you think it's time that you cut, draw, and establish that line? How much more individuals that finance the PNM to stay in power, how much more are your worker? How much more of you have to face up with the hands of the criminal element before you draw that line and say enough is enough? How much more? How much more of you, the financiers to the PNM, have to see 8 year, 9 year, 10 year, 14, 17 blood flow before you decide, look, enough is enough? Listen, all of you who finance the PNM, your hand is as dirty as those who squeeze that trigger and commit these heinous crimes, because you are the one who's sponsoring a man like Fitzgerald Hines to remain at the helm of national security. You are the ones who sponsoring people like Foster Cummins to be at the helm of youth development. You are the one who sponsoring people like Keith Rowley to stay in power, to bring policies to create more hardship and more crime in our Twin Island Republic. You are responsible, because if you cut your financial ties with a government who has underperformed, a government who has failed in every instant, a government who cannot attract foreign investors into a country to build and to stabilize an economy, then you are to blame, ladies and gentlemen, who finance the PNM. All of us speaking about budget coming, and some people hoping, just hoping that it will have some goody good shoes. While you hoping for some goody good shoes, while you hoping for some handout, while you hoping that some kind of old age pension you will get $5 more, you not considering the real factors of our society. You You have not yet, ladies and gentlemen, take stock to see where this country heading. You are so blinded by your ethnic composition. You are so sick in your ways that you have forgotten what love and family values were when you were a child. I have seen this society adjust to every ounce of criminality. I have seen this society watching the pond drying from the outside coming in, and because you are still in the water, you believe that everything is all right. You have seen the pond closing in on you. A matter of time before the water that you are in dry up, and you still not learning that, hey, just the other day it had water by my neighbor house. Look, my neighbor house on the hard. Look, my neighbor house on the dry. And look, the water keep drying. Don't feel because you are in the center of the pond that you are safe. Don't feel for 1 second that you are safe from what your neighbor know, experience. I keep telling you that your turn is just round the corner. And if, ladies and gentlemen, you continue to adjust, you adjust yourself with the first fuel increase. You adjust yourself with the second fuel increase. You adjust yourself to the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. I think it's about 7 times. And you're going to adjust to the 8th. You adjust to the 1 murder in your village. You adjust to the 2. You adjust to the 3. You adjust to 6 and 7 and 8. It's only a matter of time before you adjust to 10 and 15. You know what's the sad part about it? You will have to adjust when it reach inside your house. When it reach home by you, you will have to adjust. And you will bawl. And you will cry. And you know what will happen? You will adjust yourself and say, well, look, he gone, she gone. There is nothing I could do. That is what you're going to be telling yourself. But I hope that you could watch back and see all that you could have done to prevent. You know, we growing up and mommy and daddy always used to say, Victor, an ounce of prevention is better than a whole pound of what? A whole pound of cure. But it looked like this country, all you reach the point that all you will buy a pound of cure all the time, but never able to cure the sickness, the disease that this government continue to spread through the land, that would not only affect you, would not only affect your children, but will also affect your grandchildren, your great-grand, and even the unborn babies. This is what the people who support the PNM financially, this is what you are doing. You are killing this country, and you are so tied up in your greed, you are so tied up with the love of money, that you don't even care if your family is next on the list. I listened to a video recently where a man called and he say, boy, stop playing with me, boy. We want 100,000 every month. And the man saying, well, why go get that from? He said, boy, we know what you're making. Like, you ain't value your daughter and your son life for. You ain't value their life. We want this money when the month come. And you know what happened? They will set the example. They started telling the man, your daughter who owned this store, and she driving this vehicle, and they call the number plate, and she does reach here at that time and leave at that time, and she does take this route. I saw that video, and the man saying, oh God, well, go kill me. And the bandit saying, boy, you're playing with we are all your facts. We know everything. We know when you does deposit. They shoot some policeman will come out from some casino recently, I think it's in South Park, 2 days ago or a day ago, last night. Come out from South Park, win a little digit, and come out and tell himself, I catch them. But he didn't catch them, he catch some lead. They are all over the place. They in the mall. They in the taxi. They in the supermarket. They in the market. They in your business place. They in the government. They all over the place. Archie, we could take some calls today?
Yeah, we up and ready, man.
All right, give me back the number again. Let me invite 1 or 2 people to share their experience with this crime situation. If you get a chance, pop the number on the screen there for me. They all over. But the most significant issue is that the criminals, they are in government. They interfere with every independent institution that exists. They mash it up, they break it up. And you are just to that, you know. You are just to that. You know what's in my thoughts right now? I think that I will start some crime consultation very, very soon. I think I will have to start some crime consultation. I think I will have to come in your village and in your town and let we get together and let we come up with some ideas to deal with this crime situation. Because it seems as though that there is no hope. It seems as though that there is no hope. You people of this country, you cannot tell me that you are satisfied with what is happening. Number on the screen, 373-5488. 5488. 373. Long time I hear all the voice. So look at call when I'm ready. I go take the calls anytime. All you had to get serious, people. We just can't continue like that. I watching some behavior in schools.
Take a call in.
Welcome, caller.
Good night, Victor.
Good night, good night.
Archie, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Victor, you know, people season all what taking place in this country. You know what I'm telling you, that this season like nothing to them?
Yeah.
That house that they shoot down with the whole family of 9 people, all those children. You know, we're not hearing a peep out of the Prime Minister, the President, the Minister of National Security. Nobody. You're not hearing a peep out of them. Nothing, everything's silent. Everybody like this stuff. What is going on in this country? According to you, until they reach your doorstep, then they're going to 1 o'clock. That is what's going to happen to them. You have a blessed night and thank you for being back.
Thank you, my lady. And my lady, you are so right. You are so right. It seems as though that this country lost. And when I mean lost, it seems as though that there is no end in sight to what is happening. No end in sight. And we just cannot continue like this. 373-5488 is the number. I will take some calls. This is where we are. And until people realize that you have a responsibility as a citizen of this country, you just can't sit down and take whatever going on and whatever happening and do absolutely nothing about it. You have a responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. And if you shun from that responsibility, what will happen to Omar? What will happen to Jesse and Lucy and Patsy and Jane and all these children? What will happen to them? Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Good night.
Good night, good night.
Once more again, let me welcome Victor Robert for having this conversation with the population. I do hope they take note of what he is saying. When crime is overtaken by the criminal elements in the Twin Islands, you have to take the bull by its horn. You have to have a blitz on crime. You have to have round-the-clock patrol, like in Burroughs' days, when we had the flying squad, east, north, west, and south, and we had the criminal at bay. So I'm calling on the commissioner tonight. Let us see a blitz on crime. Stop and search all vehicles. It will be a little inconvenient, but to save the Twin Islands, we have to do it. Bring out the army, if possible, too, because we want to see Trinidad and Tobago a nice place again. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller, it seems as though that the Commissioner of Police living in some delusionary mindset. It seems as though the Commissioner of Police haven't got a clue. She started off first by believing that prayer would have fixed the crime situation. While prayer would of course be a component, the whole idea is to get your physical infrastructure in place to deal with stuff. We are the government telling us that they had brought in a lot of sophisticated a lot of sophisticated what it was, Archie? Where they bring from Israel? Israeli equipments. Right, equipments that would be able to assist in crime fighting. We had the government standing up and telling us through the Minister of National Security that they know who the criminal element, all the bosses. They tell us that. They said that to us. That they are aware. The word I was looking for just now was intelligence equipment. They said they brought in a lot of intelligent equipment from Israel. And those equipment, money was well spent. And those equipment would be utilized in the fight against crime. It seems as though that equipment that they brought in this country is causing more crime than fighting crime. Because you cannot tell me before they spend these millions of US money to bring in these Israeli equipment in this country, the murder rate we have, Fitzgerald Hines takes 600 plus murder for a year and relax with that. And still stand up and tell you that his business is not to make you safe. So the Commissioner of Police, you know, I saw, welcome caller. Welcome caller.
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, Mr. Robert.
Speaking.
Good night.
Good night, good night.
Right. Good night.
Good night, hearing you.
So glad to see you back here. I'm so glad to hear your voice and to see you back. He's a good man. He's a great man, Mr. Robert. God bless you. God bless Annie Robert. God bless the people at all around you. Blessings to all. You are so glad to see you back.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
God.
She gone? Yeah. We have a commissioner of police. You know, I saw a video kind of comical which states a man have a ball in his hand and they ask him, well, what is that? And he tell them, and they ask him, well, what you making of that? Welcome, caller.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Roberts.
Good day.
Mr. Roberts, I call him from Ashford. I call your show every so often, but that last caller, you know, that was an older woman, an elderly woman, right? You could tell in her voice and her distraction and breaking in her voice, it reminds me of my mom. She's 87 years old, and that woman was elderly, and she said, thank you. I was thinking about you today. I was thinking, why isn't Victor Roberts back on the air in his podcast every Monday night? Why is the UNC doing this to us? They only come around during election time and get on our podcast. Why can't they talk to us every night? So I was very happy you came back, and I think I need to give you some advice. From just my point of view, because I live here for 8 years now. I left here when the PNM was in government, and I came back and the PNM was in government, and let me tell you something. Nothing has changed. It's going to get worse as the PNM stays into power. They're not going to help us. And I think what the UNC needs to do now is keep your Monday forum going, and also really need to really tell, we know what the problems are. We know that we have no water. We know the roads have potholes. We know that the government social service is falling apart, because when you watch people who are dying, children who are dying, and you look at their houses, they live in squalor. They live in houses that have galvanized roof, galvanized walls, and climate change is real. These children baking alive. You can fire egg inside one of those houses. And I've got elderly people dying in fire houses, no water, and people getting killed every day. And it's normal. And I feel like I get a nervous breakdown because I never live in such chaos. I live in Kentucky, but this kind of people craziness is insane. So what I think the UNC should do now is this. I think we need to now strategize how to win the next election.
Thank you, caller.
Strategize. Now we need to now rally. We need to get soldiers on the ground. We need to get UNC people, the representatives, the councilman, the alderman. I don't want to hear Carolyn Central calling the radio every morning and talking 20 times and signing affidavits for everybody. We need him to do more than just that. We don't need real estate owners and doctors and dentists running. We need you on the ground telling us how we could access information so we could access those grants, that funding, because it's a war. You know, whenever the election comes, they come and giving you money. Well, we could access that money without government telling us we're going to help you because I'm a politician. We need you guys on the ground showing our people and educating our people how to get that $21 billion USD that comes in the oil sector. $21 billion USD every single year. And they never tell you that the other $4 billion come from the manufacturers, the Matu, the Bidens, all these people. But we know the money is there. And where does it go? It goes in companies like Nikon. Prime Minister bringing Nikon in here, a friend of Parliament, a stalwart, and they get a big job, and they're taking this money from our people who came from nothing. Our people were lineage of slaves. Our people were indentured laborers from India, and they lived in poverty, abject poverty for so long, and we're still putting up with this nonsense. Billions of dollars, and them have houses and flying all over, jet setting, Prime Minister laughing and phoning on the United Nations. They do nothing for us. The United States does nothing for us except give us training on narcotics, and we're going to build a big embassy and they buy it from the white man. Couldn't they open one in Madras, or one in Cuba? Why do they have to go to Port-au-Prince? They could open a place in Tiago. It's a sea.
Thank you, Kola.
Robert.
Welcome, Kola.
Good night, and welcome back, Mr. Victor Roberts.
Sararoti, Sahina.
Tomato choka,
Tomato
Sahina by the
choka.
side. I want to reflect on something I was so frustrated about. And that has to do with the National Awards for Mediocrity. Remember that gala celebration where the President, the Prime Minister, and the Chief Justice attended to, and they gave out some awards? Some of these awards was well deserved. And I see a set of XPNM people get it. So I want to know if some of them was Balize Award. It was not based on meritocracy, and that is my problem with this government. No, they gave a young girl for gallantry, and I have no problems with that. But why they did not give Kurban and the four divers? The four divers died trying to make money for heritage, so we as citizens of Trinidad could have benefit for that. I mean to say, the reflecting from that, Mr. KR afraid, and that is one of the gentlemen, that is several should have got the highest award for gallantry and for devoted and loyal service. But I can't understand how they can't see that they're happy in the eye. The other one is this group, the rescue group with Rambarat. You know, they have usurped the authority of the national security apparatus. Anytime somebody go missing a thing, they jump in front and the police stay behind. So that is another organization.
Under search and rescue?
Right. You know the thing. You understand what I'm saying? They is the forefront. They just give you all the information. And I see they give a fella a posthumous award. A fella, what is the name, boy? In the oil industry. And I wanted to know if he was part of Malcolm Jones' team, and if they reward him for putting that yoke on our back. It now translated to Naikwan. Those are the people we reward. And then I seen another piece of article on a newspaper where they were questioning why they didn't give any woman for development of women in the country. And when I read the article, who chose the awardees was a fella by the name of Ivor who was in charge of that. So it brought to my attention, was this gender bias? And say no more, I go on.
Thank you, Sahina. Sahina, in this country, it's a sad reality that this is how we allow things to happen. We allow things to happen, we sit back, we relax, we speak about it, and that is as far as we go. And until we understand that we need to do something more than talk, and that's one of the reasons why I am not afraid to go out there and do what I had to do. Because just talking alone would not solve the problem. We have so many eloquent speakers on different social media platforms. But if you are to examine who really will sacrifice and go out and do the work, even a matter of fact, even put themselves at risk to do the job, you will seldom find much talkers on social media platform would venture to take the risks by going out there and do what they had to do. I remember in our area, from time to time we have serious flooding. And I will take my vehicle and go out there, go through the flood to help ensure that people are safe, to help ensure that people reach to the destiny, because in some instant the car could only go as far as point A, and then I will take you from point A to point B to point C and go straight down the alphabet to ensure that you reach home. And you will understand that there are so much talkers, people who saying, boy, I admire what you did, and I ain't lying, I ain't taking that chance to go through there with my vehicle. Yes, it costs me time from time to time as we go along. But you just can't sit down and would not make that effort to help or to change things. And what I've realized in this country is that there's a lot of good talkers. There's a lot of eloquent speakers. They articulate in their vocabulary. But to the end of the day, to go out into the field and to take a stand for the same thing that they preach, you will never see them practice it. You will never see them practice what they preach. You won't. And that is one of the problems that we face in this country. We have too many talkers. Too many people who just feel important by talking. You have to talk the talk and walk the talk. If you are not prepared to walk the talk, then shut up. According to Rowley. Stay quiet, stay in your zone, hush your mouth. Just to be a babbler. Just to be a rah. And that is as far as it go. It reminds me of a dog. That one of my in-laws have. That dog by the name of Bruce will rush out. And as soon as the neighbors stand up and start to run behind Bruce, Bruce spinning wrong and taking off full speed ahead. But when they hear Bruce back, Bruce get you frightened, you're sure, well, that's a real bad dog, boy. Don't take chance with that dog. But you just back at Bruce and see what Bruce going and do. It have plenty Bruce on social media. Plenty Bruce outside there. Just talking. When you listen to conversations by the side of the road, but Rowley them in order doing, Rowley them at to go, Rowley them this, Rowley them that, Rowley the other, Rowley rah. But tell the same people, hey, you see them 10 people who get shooting tongue there, we ain't taking that, boy. Let me go and let the Minister of National Security know we had enough. Say that now. Say that now and see how much of them come in there. Say that, you say it and see. But every topic, that is the same reason why I tell her that I'm going to remove myself from some of them WhatsApp dotish group. Every topic they had the answer. They know everything on them group.